Undisputed. I'm Jen Taft with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Guys, how we doing today?
Not too well.
Not too well. Hold on. Update from the control room. The Lakers just missed another three down in Orlando. They are the Orlando Tragic now. I don't know what happened.
Okay, keep that in.
Yeah.
Keep that in about another week.
Here we go. It's a good day here on Undisputed.
I got a couple tough ones for you, Shannon. I didn't know you were going to handle this. We'll have to see about it.
Bad for us.
All right, guys, I'm going to get right to it because yesterday President Trump said that he would not be watching NBA games after seeing players kneeling during the national anthem. When asked about the president's comments, LeBron replied with, quote, "I really don't think the basketball community is sad about losing his viewership, and that's all I got to say." LeBron added that he's not going to get into it because he knows where it could lead to for him. So, Shannon, do you like LeBron's response here?
I do. Skip, look, we know what President Trump is trying to do, but I just need to know one thing. Skip, are we sticking to sports or are we going politics? I thought we were supposed to do one or the other, because that's what they tell you and I, Skip. They say, stick to sports. I turn you guys on to hear sports. Yeah. Well, I thought we elected him to talk politics. But he seems to turn everything into politics, whether it's sports, whether it's about wearing a mask, so everything's become political. Skip, I do like what LeBron had to say, and I don't think the basketball community is going to miss President Trump. Look, Skip, LeBron James has made it abundantly clear how he feels about this president. The president has made it abundantly clear in 2017 how he feels about the black athlete that kneels during the anthem. He's made it clear. But you have to understand, President Trump is doing this. So no matter how you look at it, Skip, is his approval rating in the tank or is his disapproval rating so high? Whichever the case may be, that's what he's trying to do. And he knows one thing. What will rouse his base? What red meat can he feed his base to get them energized about the election? Because his disapproval rating is sky high. And he understands, I got to get him out. I got to turn him out. You know, he's always trying to suppress the vote. Well, you know, Florida and Arizona, you guys send your ballots in. Everybody else, you need to go wait 12, 15 hours during the pandemic and vote, knowing that blacks are, you know, disproportionately at a disadvantage, so are other minorities about during this pandemic about getting this COVID. So, Skip, I'm not surprised that President Trump has done this because he knows it gets his base going. Because what did he do, Skip? When he strolled down that escalator, he didn't mention anything about infrastructure. He didn't mention anything about the economy. What was the very first words out of his mouth? Mexico are sending us their worst. Rapists, murderers, and drug dealers. So he planted that seed right there, right then. So I am not surprised. I'm not surprised that LeBron took this approach. Doc Rivers says, look, hey, we can fix this problem. I mean, basically, in a nutshell, I think he pointed to his shirt or his hat. Vote. That's what LeBron initiative is. Vote. Somebody's doing something you don't like and they hold a political office and they got there by the voting process. You don't like what they're doing? Vote their butt out of office.
Doc Rivers yesterday.
Vote. Yeah, Doc. Vote. Exactly. So this is what this is about. Skip. He's trying to get his base energized again. He's flaming, Skip. His campaign, the polls show, and even though the polls are showing it, we're still going out. We're turning out in droves. Young people, we're turning out in droves because things are not right. And he's handled this pandemic poorly. He's handled race relationships. Skip, this is about this is back to, we're in 2020, and the race relationship is getting even deeper. The wealth disparity between blacks and white is getting greater. And he knows that, and so, hey, let me see what I can do. What can I get them to distract from the pandemic that we got almost 60,000 people, and they say maybe by the end of the year we'll have 300,000. What can I get them distracted with? Oh, yeah, the anthem. There ain't nobody talking about no anthem. Here he goes again.
Yep. I hear everything you just said. I'm about to tell you why I did not love what LeBron said last night. I didn't love that he said one word about this last night. To your point, I have been talking sports on television for a long time, television and radio.
Yes.
And I was taught from the start, as were you, do not mix politics and sports on air. You are there to talk sports. So I have always fought against and guarded against letting any kind of politics leak into a sports discussion.
Or religion in there too.
Or religion, or anything other than sports.
Correct.
Right? So I love talking sports. I live for sports. You're much more into politics than I am, so it's probably easier for me than it is for you.
Right.
But I have found myself in the last, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 months talking more politics than I ever imagined were even in my brain and in my soul and in my heart on television.
Correct.
And that is because our president keeps throwing that door open and talking about sports and combining politics and sports and interjecting politics into sports.
Right.
Maybe that's a great thing in the big picture, because it all started when this quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers decided, first of all, I'm going to sit for the anthem.
Right.
And then he decided, no, I'm going to kneel for the anthem. And at first, I didn't get it. And then as I began to listen to what he was saying, it hit me right in the heart. He's right. This is the way to get everybody's attention to deal with an issue that has long been left undealt with.
Correct.
And it's only getting worse. And you know what it is? Obviously, the murdering of black men and women unarmed by white policemen. Okay, so we are now, I hope, confronting that issue. But the president will not acknowledge that issue.
Right.
He always makes it, do not disrespect that flag.
Country.
Okay, it's your country. It's how he got elected in 2016. What was his campaign slogan? It's Make America Great Again. Love and respect our flag. And so Colin Kaepernick actually played right into the president's hands in a weird way, because the president could then use that as his campaign motto. The driving force of his campaign was to appeal to that segment of our population who does love that flag. And I love all of them for loving it.
Yep.
But there was a reason, there was a method to what Colin Kaepernick was doing, and he loves the flag too.
Right.
He loves our country too. But unfortunately, our country hasn't loved him and his community enough to protect it from white policemen. Okay, so we get all that.
Correct.
So I was watching live as LeBron down in the bubble was speaking with his mask on. And as soon, it was about the 6th or 8th question. It might have been the last question. And all of a sudden, he's asked about yet another salvo from our president, which happened yesterday morning.
Right.
In which I believe, I'm going to paraphrase this a bit, but I believe our president said, I have done more for the black community than any president since Abraham Lincoln.
He keep perpetuating that lie. That's a lie.
Okay, but he said that. So that was part of the question that was proposed to LeBron. And I'm sure that part of the question just hit his deepest hot button.
Right.
Okay. So he paused for a second, and you could see his mind working. Should I? Should I? Should I? And then he began to speak out loud about should I or shouldn't I? And he said, I don't know about this. He says, I already know where this could go, where it could lead to for tomorrow for me. I'm not going to get into that, because he realizes that if he fires back, then it's likely that our president today will then fire back at LeBron via Twitter or whatever, maybe in an interview, right? Because he needs LeBron to fire back.
Correct.
He, unfortunately, fueling his fire.
Correct.
So in the back of my mind, I'm saying, as I'm watching live, just don't do it. Because I know what LeBron James thinks of our president.
Right.
He once called him a bum.
A bum.
He called him our so-called president.
Right.
Okay? So I don't need him to reiterate that. I know. Shannon Sharp knows deep down what LeBron thinks of Donald Trump.
Right.
Correct?
Yes.
But he just couldn't stop because of the Abraham Lincoln comparison. It's like, I can't. And so he sort of stuck toe in water.
Right.
And then the water felt good, it felt warm, and it started to heat up, and then he got rolling, and he began to feed off himself, and it was great. And he went on to say, I think our game is a beautiful game right now. It's in a beautiful position, and it is. And the truth is, our president often exaggerates what ratings are, and he said that ratings are down in the NBA. Well, they have been for the whole regular season, but in the bubble, they started off with a bang.
Right.
Now they've calmed down a bit because the games are being played in the morning. We got Zion playing this morning at 10:30 Pacific time.
Yeah.
So it's a morning game. Well, you're going to have a hard time getting a big number off that game.
Even though some people are still at home, they're still
that's
working.
true. No, that's true.
Skip,
They are
they
still working.
gotta work.
But you're not going to get a primetime number off that game.
Right.
Okay, so LeBron starts to roll on this, and he does get into voting, and he does get into how November is right around the corner, and it's a big moment for us as Americans.
Yes.
Okay, way to go. But the game will go on without his eyes on it. And he winds up saying, I could care less. The truth is, the way you should say it is, I could not care less.
Right.
But people understand, I could care less
Right.
about that, what
Yes.
that means.
Yes.
Okay, bang, love it. But I don't love the impact of it because you might just be refueling his fan base. Because we talked yesterday about the Jonathan Isaac syndrome, and we kicked around the potential reasons for Jonathan Isaac's jersey flying up the charts to #2 in sales. Jonathan Isaac, these people buying his jersey didn't even know who he was until maybe,
What school he went to?
right? Nothing. They would know nothing about Jonathan Isaac. He wears #1 for the Orlando Magic, and all of a sudden that Magic #1 jersey went kaboom up to the top,
Right.
second only to your man LeBron James.
Because Skip, he's always been in Orlando. It's not like all of a sudden, like,
Yep.
oh, he's playing for the Magic now.
Okay.
He's been in Orlando for a year or two.
Why did that happen? Is it possible that a whole lot of Trump supporters or Patriots flag supporters
Yes.
just said, thank you, young man, thank you for that? Because he was the one and only black man, black player
Right.
who said, no, I'm not going to kneel. I'm not going to wear Black Lives
Right.
Matter because I'm putting words in his mouth, but he's